Man, life is good. Life is good. We're going to have we've got some drama going on in Maga world this morning. Much as I hate to talk about drama, as much as I hate to talk about things going on over at X, this is actually pretty important. It has more to do with trade and immigration than anything. So let's dig right into it. So, well, everything's just lagging this morning. We've entered the find out phase. I have to tell you, I am absolutely loving it. You know, we had the unions the other day having a hissy fit. The fire department union was having a hissy fit about Doge undercutting the funding that they wanted in the bill for their 9/11 health care. We had the steelworkers union finding out that the leopard that's eating their face this last election was wearing an elephant costume, and a lot of people fell for it. A lot of people fell for it. They really did, and voted against their own self-interest. They voted against everything that we do for them. We as Democrats do for them, and it has really it's come home to roost. And I have to say, I'm absolutely loving it. It is, you've got, like I said, the unions over the steelworkers unions are upset because Trump basically submarined their sale of U.S. steel to Japan, which would have saved their factories, and gone, just gone. You voted for Trump, and now it's gone, because Trump really doesn't give a damn about you. And it's come home to roost for a lot of people. And it's starting to hit the MAGA inner circle. And I have to tell you, I'm absolutely loving this. I am absolutely loving this. This is how it started. We have Looney Loomer, who has just been losing her mind because after the election, you know, all these right wingers that are these influencers have been carrying Trump's water. I mean, they've been just all over it. They have been all over backing Trump and anything he did. It doesn't matter what Trump did. It was the best thing that ever happened. Talking to the stupids, the really dumb people. And we're going to actually talk about this coming home to roost for some people up in Pennsylvania. But yeah, and let's be honest, it worked. The exit polling data and the exit polling interviews were just heartbreaking. Just heartbreaking, the things that people believed. And it's because of people like Laura Loomer. I mean, I've been raging with everybody I could talk to in the Democratic Party, telling them, look, this social media stuff, you know, I get it. You think it's a kid's toy. It's not. You've got more people getting their news and information from social media than you have them getting from cable news. And the Russians and the right wingers figured this out, and they are just flooding the space. We've talked about this before. All of the Looney Loomer and all, we're finding out that more and more of these people are paid directly by Russia. And the message they're putting out is effective. And they're pissed because, you're supposed to dance with the one that brung you, and Trump isn't. And it's just blown up just spectacularly. That's how it started. Then it moved on to Looney Loomer here attacking Elon Musk. The party's over between Elon Musk and the Maga base. It is just over. Loomer posts this: is Doge a way to cut spending or redirect the spending toward the pet projects of tech bro billionaires? It's looking like the latter, to be honest. Hey, let's convince the peasants that we are saving them money as we enrich ourselves. Then when they find out and speak out, we will show them. Yeah. Love it for you. Love it for you. I love it for you. And it goes on. You've got Elon Musk. She gets Elon Musk's attention because this is really drawn blood, folks. And we'll talk about it after we get through this drama here. She gets Elon Musk's attention. Musk responds, Loomer's trolling for attention. Ignore her. Well, no, they didn't ignore her. This exploded all over the right wing. This was raging on X. And Laura Loomer responds here, telling the truth isn't trolling. Read the room, Elon Musk. You bought your way into MAGA 5 minutes ago after Trump. A lot of this is her butthurt because, like I said, they've been carrying water for Trump since 2016. And here comes Elon Musk, who didn't get a few things he wanted out of Democrats. So he jumped on the Republican Trump train, bought himself a presidency, and yeah, leopards are eating faces, and I'm loving it. I am loving it. You bought your way into MAGA 5 minutes ago after Trump almost had his head blown off in Butler. Remember when you voted for Biden and propped up Governor Ron DeSantis and you said Trump was too old? Yeah, all of this is coming home to us. We all know you donated your money, only donated your money so you could influence immigration policy and protect your buddy Xi Jinping. And that's when it got interesting, because that one drew blood. These people sold out their own interests. We saw it with Hispanic men. We saw it with poor white people. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. We got another leopard eating your face story going on. Oh yeah, Becky, the Schadenfreude is just loving it. Just absolutely loving it. And it goes on. The drama goes on. Oh my God. Then, Lord Loomer's been raging about this continuously. The elephant in the room is that Elon Musk, who is not MAGA and never has been, is a total effing drag on the Trump transition. He's a stage 5 clinger who overstayed his welcome at Mar-a-Lago in an effort to become Trump's side piece. Yeah, we know who attempted to become Trump's side piece. We saw it all. And be the point man for all of his accomplices in big tech to slither into Mar-a-Lago. And I have to tell you, this has really blown up into a MAGA civil war between the tech bros and the MAGA base. Because again, remember, they were all about immigration. They were all about punishing brown people. They were all about the people that they hated. Their bigotry drove everything. They voted against their self-interests. And here, Laura Loomer ripped the scab off of something, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. Let's get through this. This really is something that's way more important than just this. This is the only reason I'm talking about this. I hate this drama. I hate this nonsense, but it is serious and it is real and it is coming home to roost. So Elon Musk, when she starts drawing blood, Elon Musk starts responding uh, and starts retaliating. Laura Loomer posted this. Elon Musk is now admitting it's a retaliation. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. He said, yes. So calling out mass migration is a stupid game. So much for your free speech, quite totalitarian of you. And I got to tell you, it's not just Loomer now. They have come to her rescue, and you're seeing right wingers that are like, hey, wait a minute. This is not what we voted for. And a lot of these influencers have a lot of followers, and they've started to ask questions and started to turn on each other. This is just these are two mid-level right wingers going at it here. Dasha here, who's always, anyways, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on the right wingers, but she's like, Dad came here on an H-1B visa and I'm a beloved American, but I understand this is a complicated issue and not really about me. And you've got Josiah Lippincott here that comes back at her. Thank you, Dasha. When we deport your father, we will do so without malice. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I just love that so much. I really do. I just love that so much. Thank you for your service. And when we deport your father, it won't be out of hate. No. Oh my God. So it gets even better. It gets even better. And y'all understand why we're talking about Laura Loomer here. She has a massive following on X. She moves the needle on the right, enough so that the Trump campaign brought her into the inner circle for a while, but she's nuts, man. There's a reason I call her Looney Loomer. She is a keg of dynamite. She is insane. She is racist as hell. It's crazy. I mean, it is just crazy. One second. Let's see if we can. There we go. Hopefully that's better. That's better. So Elon Musk responds. He goes nuts because, like I said, she's drawing blood. She's talking about his longest green, and we're going to get more to. We're gonna get to that a little bit here in just a little bit, but yeah, Elon Musk responded. One of the most massive right-wing accounts. He canceled all of her subscriptions, took her way to earn away on X, took her verification off of her account, and and that didn't shut her up. That didn't shut her up. Surprisingly not. I'm sorry, folks. I am just loving this. I am just loving this. When he took her subscriptions away, I was like, you just have to love it. She has been milking your crazy uncle, that nutball nephew of yours, and so have been funding people like Laura Loomer forever through X. It has been just a funnel into the right wing. And when Elon Musk took her subscriptions away, I got to tell you, I did. All I could do was just sit and smile and enjoy the Schadenfreude. It was just, thanks for the support, my man. I really appreciate you. It was just outstanding. And then when he took her blue dot away, I was like, oh man, this is fantastic. But that was how it was going. That was how it was going. And no, she didn't shut up. She went nuts when he took her money away. He did. So this is where we're at. He suspended her account. Oh my God. He suspended her account. But it's too late. It's too late. The damage is done. It is over. Even the blind squirrels are finding nuts. Even the blind squirrels are finding nuts. The tech bros scored huge in this continuing resolution fight. They did. There's a reason that it's not just Elon Musk. Just Peter Thiel, all of them are donating massively to Trump's inauguration. You got Zuckerberg out there dumping millions of dollars in Trump's laps. This is the core of it. This is the core of it. And leave it to Ann frickin' Coulter, the Coultergeist, you're talking about your demonic scarecrow to figure it out. To figure it out. It's about the H-1B visas. It's about the H-1B visas. They want deportations, just not their deportations, just not who they make bank off of. Kind of like the farm workers were more than happy to support Trump and his bigoted attacks on immigrants, but just not mine. I mean, you're not going to deport mine, right? Well, this really hit home in the tech industry. You remember the golden days of Silicon Valley? People were turning into millionaires overnight. They were having to share the wealth. They were having to give people stock options. They were having to give American engineers and coders, when they wanted to build their massive billionaire empires, they had to share the wealth. And they did not like that. They did not like that. So the tech industry leaned heavily into abusing the H-1B system, immigration system. Because I'm going to say this, put a pin in it. This is nothing you're probably ever going to hear in this lifetime come out of my mouth. But Ann Coulter is right. She's right. This was part of the immigration reform that we Democrats were trying to do. You know, we need young people to come in. We need young workers to come in. One field that we don't really need to be flooded, software engineers, the tech industry. It's not that we don't have talent there. Hell, we've got unemployed talent there. It's that they can recruit out of India, they can recruit out of China, they can recruit out of other countries, bring people in on an H-1B visa, and they don't have to pay them crap. And they can treat them like crap because they can't leave. If they quit the company that they're working for, the sponsoring their H-1B visa, they get deported. That's what this is. That's what this is about. And believe me, They are freaking out. You've got Vivek Ramaswamy here. Just goes on a screed to defend his tech bro, Elon Musk. Let me read this to you. The reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over, quote, Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit. Well, no crap. We built the technology here. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demanding tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. They can't keep from saying it. They can't clamp their hands over their mouth enough. They always confess. It doesn't matter which issue you pick. They always confess. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. What? I thought it was, yay America, yay patriotism, go America. That doesn't start in college. It starts young. What? American kids are screwed up? Yeah, he's really saying this out loud. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ, or the jock over. This sounds like this is a little personal for him, doesn't it? I mean, this sounds like it's hitting a little too close to home for him. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ, or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. We did produce the best engineers. Our engineers built every platform that is now a billionaire money grab. For Christ's sake, the founder of Oracle, who built everything he built with American engineers, owns a Hawaiian island. Yeah, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. A culture that venerates Corey from Boys Meets World over Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell. I mean, this is really just getting stupid. Or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best. So yeah, I mean, it's not that they're abusing the H-1B visa system. It's that we're shitty parents and our kids are stupid and have a bad attitude. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, we knew. I mean, Maga's chaos. Maga is chaos. And we knew it was going to come. We did. We knew it was going to blow up. We knew it was going to happen. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not see it happening this fast. I kind of thought when the immigration thing, the camps came about, and we started pointing out that, oh, wait, they're not really mass deporting people. They're just locking people up in frickin' immigration camps and then selling them as slave frickin' labor. And you didn't really get what you thought you were. I thought that is when it was going to happen. I did. I didn't think that it was all going to blow up now. And it is. MAGA is ripping itself apart because they are realizing, oh, wait a minute. You're really not going to bring the cost of groceries down, are you? No. You're really not going to give us the good jobs, are you? No, we're not. No, we're not. Well, wait a minute. I thought you were our friend. I thought Elon Musk loved poor people. I thought Donald Trump loved poor people. No, never did. Never did. I thought the whole God, I love you people. I love you people. You're always one step ahead of me. You're always one step ahead of me. The H-1B system is DEI on a global scale that they abuse to get cheap labor that they can abuse. And Democrats were fixing it. That is part of the immigration negotiations. And that's why Elon Musk dumped. Part of the reason Elon Musk and all the tech bros dumped so much money and put so much effort and were willing to destroy their brands, because that's how much money they make off of these people. Folks, you're not seeing that. The golden age is over. You remember all the people that were, overnight millionaires because they were recruited into these companies with stock options, and that's over. That is over. These guys, these billionaires are as greedy as it gets. They made so much money off of these people. ET, my man, y'all, YouTube did some bot purging, removed a bunch of subscribers platform-wide. Texas Paul is close to 100. I didn't lose a single one. I've been my subscriber count has been on an upward arc. People said that about Threads too. People were all over Threads. They're like, "Oh my God, I lost 20,000 followers. I lost 40,000 followers because they were purging bots." Not our community. My subscriber count has just been on an upward climb the entire time. Thank you, T, for pointing that out. We are going to bust 100,000. We are. I'm going to have to go back and do some editing with the technical problems, but yeah, this show's going to put us over. Hit the subscribe button. We're there, man. We're at like 99,980 something. Thank you, traveling teacher. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, it's just really freaking delicious. Like I said, I killed my X account. I'm not going to let Elon Musk make money off my content. I'm just not. So I killed my X account. And I have been so hard on people on the left. They're like, well, if we leave, then, we got to stay for the fight. Nah, BS. You're staying because you got 250,000 followers or better. And you don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose that attention. You're afraid to build on new platforms. I've never been. My message, as you see here, 100,000 followers is a lot on YouTube. It is. That is a lot on YouTube. Each platform is different because they tend to use the word subscribe instead of follow. People are hesitant to hit that button because they think there's a difference, and there really isn't a difference. It's just YouTube. So it's much more difficult to build followers on YouTube than it is on other platforms. Instagram, it's super easy to get followers on Instagram. We've got a huge community over on Instagram, and that took nothing. I mean, that took me just a couple of weeks. But yeah, you've got these people that are stuck on X because they're afraid of doing the work to build followers on other platforms. So they're letting Elon Musk make money off of them. I won't do it. And I hate to even talk about X. And when there are several accounts that are over on Blue Sky that well, this is going on over at X over there. So I left there because I don't want to hear that. So look, the reason I'm saying this is I'm not being a hypocrite here, folks. I'm not. This has more to do. This isn't just about X and the sewer that place has always been, and just following the drama over there. It is more than that, folks. It is way more than that. Elon Musk pissed all over his customer base. He pissed all over, he had relations with the Democratic Party. He attacked Donald Trump. That went on for years. And then we Democrats said, look, we've got to control our trade with China. China has distinct advantages. And again, it's not personal. It's not personal. Let's talk about it for a second. China's an adversary. They are. They compete against us for different things. And China has a really bad habit. They don't innovate. China leads in nothing. They just don't. I was speaking to an executive over at Emerson one day, and I was talking about, man, we ought to just as a side business make some pedal powered golf carts. Kind of that middle of the road. You got the lazy golf cart people, and you got this guy was huge into golf. And I said, man, you could make them in China. They'd be dirt cheap. And he said, no, you can't. No, you can't, because you're small. You can't compete globally. They would steal your design and they would manufacture it and sell it themselves. That's what China does. And it is. And they do it even to large companies. And one of the things that she has done was he insisted that Elon Musk move his operations to China. And China promptly stole every bit of technology that the engineers over at Tesla had developed. And now Chinese cars went to be, I don't know how many sparklers do we have here? I love Hal Sparks. I really do. I love the knowledge that he has on China. How many sparklers do we have here? A lot of sparklers here. Love that guy. I really do. I'm a sparkler myself. I love Hal Sparks. I love to go to, if you've ever get a chance to go to a Nerd Halen show, go. It's fantastic. It really is. I could not believe the voice that guy has. Ask Mrs. Texas Paul. We went to a Nerd Halen show here in Dallas. Oh my God. They put on a crazy show. The range that guy has is insane, but I'm getting sidetracked here. He talks about BYD all the time, and how BYD was basically just glorified golf cart company. Their cars were horrible junk. And then overnight, Mitt Romney was right. Your main adversary is Russia, not China. I use two different words for them. I call China an adversary, and I call Russia an enemy. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But overnight, all of a sudden, BYD had massive new technology, and they're building great cars. Geely overnight is making electric cars. I mean, it's just one Chinese company after another. Wow, Mark, I really appreciate the support, my man. That is a lot of bucks, dude. I appreciate you very much. That is very generous of you, my friend. Overnight. And that's what China does, folks. I just want to stress that, so that you understand. China is not an innovator. They don't develop. That's why the Biden administration has worked so hard to limit their access to AI. They're giving American companies that head start for as long as possible, trying to fend China off, because China will steal the technology and they will manufacture it, and they will use the advantages they have. China definitely has advantages. One of it is manpower. Business is war, and the size of your army matters. It just does. Another advantage that China has is culturally, they don't bitch about pollution that much. They really don't. It's been thousands of years of history that is, just from monarchies to despots. They've never had the kind of culture we had here in the United States that was built out of basically going our own direction, breaking away from that stuff. That's never happened in China. So they've got that cultural advantage when it comes to running businesses. Their people just don't balk much at, pollution. They don't. It's really difficult to get, I mean, you've really got to be abusing people for the Chinese government to act against your company. I mean, it's got to be bad. I mean, you've got Chinese companies that are hanging nets outside their buildings. Not kidding, folks. This is not an exaggeration. You've got Chinese companies that are hanging nets on the sides of their buildings because their employees keep committing suicide and jumping out the windows. Really? I mean, so yeah, the whole point is China does have some competitive advantages. They do. They're also right next door between themselves. They are the largest market in the world as far as sheer number of human beings is concerned. And they're literally right next door to India, which is the other largest market in the world. So, yeah, they've got a geographic advantage, just one advantage after another, after another, after another. You know, we talked about the inroads they're making in Panama. You know, this whole nonsense. The president of Panama just shrugged Trump off, just to, again, take a little bit of a left turn here from our main subject. We've got Panama has just shrugged them off because Donald Trump is saying idiotic, made-up crap like the Chinese army is running the Panama Canal, which is just provably false. And the president of Panama is like, eh. We talked about the investment from Evergreen. You know, a lot of you folks, I love you folks so much. I really do. I love you folks when you like call me out for something. But this time you got it wrong. You did. You got it wrong. Mike, there you go. Man, always ahead of me. Mike Bundy, we must protect Taiwan. A lot of you called me out and said Evergreen is a Taiwanese company. It's not a Chinese company when I was talking about the canal and the investment from Evergreen into the canal from China. No. Yes, on paper, Evergreen is a Taiwanese company. It is. And that's how it skirts. It's just easier for them to call themselves Taiwanese. They build their ships in China. The number one ports that they visit and ship out of are China. It's a Chinese company, folks. It is. It is a Chinese company pretending to be a Taiwanese company. That's what Evergreen is. And their investments, and I'll give you an example. Their investments in the Panama Canal, this is a real issue, folks. And it is a real problem that Trump is going to be president while we deal with this. Because the investments in Evergreen that Evergreen made into Panama to modernize their ports, they yielded real fruit. Panama kind of de-recognized Taiwan and said, Taiwan's part of China. If Evergreen was a Taiwanese company, why would they respond to that way? No, this really is bearing fruit for Xi in Panama. So yeah, it's a real issue. But no, the Chinese government is not running the canal. And we've got this ham-handed moron running that situation. But China has those advantages because, again, we talked about American executives. Thanks, Lori. I appreciate the support. We talked about American executives. They're lazy and they're stupid. They're riding these advantages that we give them, but they don't do the work. And they're selfish. They want all the benefits of government, but they want to kill government for everything else. And they're ham-handed and stupid in the way they do it. Whereas the Chinese have a distinct advantage. The Chinese government, there's no daylight between Chinese businesses and the Chinese government. None whatsoever. I guarantee you, if the American government was not standing up for the tech bros, Alibaba would run Amazon out of business overnight. It's complicated. It really is complicated. And it is an adversarial situation. And we need smart people in these situations. We don't need American oligarchs like Elon Musk in the middle of this. Thanks for the support, Jerry. I appreciate you, bud. Thanks. Sandy says, thank you for all you do, Texas Paul. You're truly a voice of reason in this madness. You know, I am trying very, very hard to make sure that the information we're getting out is accurate and true, because you folks, you're not the stupids. You know what's going on. You're informed. And if you have good information and get reminded of things that are going on, yeah, we can get through this. We can. We can keep our voices out there, and we can keep the Democratic Party on the true and narrow, and we can get through this. China is very status. ET says, thanks for the support again, my man. China is very status quo until Xi had come to power. He's putting out goals and kicking them to make them. I understand what you're saying there. I do. So yeah, you get the point. China does have distinctive advantages, and we have to act to protect our businesses and our markets. It's just part of having an adversarial relationship. China, I understand China. It's not evil. They represent their interests. That's what they do. We represent our interests. It's not evil when we protect our markets. It's just a recognition. We've got 330 million people. I don't even remember the last count in China. You folks will be able to tell me what their current population is. Resources. They've got almost every major resource that's needed in the tech industry. They've got it in-house. They're not importing. We're importing. Well, we were until China cut off our gallium because of this idiot Trump. And what do our executives do? They're stupid and lazy. They have no nationalistic bias at all. They take for granted everything we have here. It was American software engineers. I'm going to land this plane now. It's American software engineers that built the tech industry that made all of these tech bros billionaires. And now they don't want to share the wealth. They don't want to share the wealth. They're selfish and greedy. And instead of using the system to better their interests, they keep trying to use the system to screw us, to try to get into bed with China. And China is just going to break it off in them. They just are. Look at what China did to Musk. I mean, he's not a bright man. They demanded, bring your factory here, so that they had him under their thumb with a massive investment. 25% of Teslas are made in China. And then they took all this technology and gave it to Chinese companies. And Chinese companies are exporting that technology all over Central America, all over South America. They're trying very hard to work with the EU, which is becoming very friendly with China now because of Russia. Because Russia is an enemy, not an adversary. And yet we've still got this. We've got a political party. Democrats put in protections. As I said, President Biden has been doing an amazing job at keeping chip technology from going from Taiwan to China. He courted those companies. They're building their factories here. He's done an amazing job of keeping that technology from flowing into China. And one of the progressions of that was the continuing resolution had in it language put in by Democrats that said, that prevented the transfer of technology to China. It limited investments in China, which directly hit Elon Musk. And folks, I 100% believe that. I mean, that was it. That was the reason for Elon Musk's interference. We saw that nightmare about funding our government. We saw the nonsense, the craziness. And this is why. Boom. This is Tesla Shanghai. See the nice port in the background there? And Maga is figuring out the Maga base that was all anti-China, all pro deportation, is figuring out that no, they're not going to get what they wanted. Loomer's on Bandit's podcast. Oh, man. There you go. There you go. I told you, man. It is a flat out civil war that is blown up in their faces. I wish I could take credit for it. I wish I could. I wish any of us, we Democrats, could take credit for it. It's not us. This is just, this was going to happen. This was going to happen. I love how informed you folks are. I really do. I really do. I don't keep track of things like Bannon's podcast. I don't. Not unless something big happens there. I've been seeing that, folks. Thanks. Appreciate you, Mr. McLeod. Thanks for the support. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Our community has busted over 100K. Marsha in the house. Thank you, Marsha. I appreciate you. Good job, folks. Good job. I'm telling you, building these communities are incredibly important because we can get information out quickly. Ed P says H-1B visas replace tens of thousands of qualified American engineers with cheap labor from India. Meanwhile, stupid maggots worry about lettuce pickers. Exactly where I was going with this. And this is why. This is the motivation. Tesla sales are dying. They are. In Europe, they're flagging here in the US. So what does Tesla do? Tesla has to keep the earnings up. That is, the emperor has no clothes. You cannot run an electric vehicle company trying to sell electric vehicles to conservatives. He's destroyed his brand. The emperor has no clothes. Sales are falling off. The rest of the segment, EVs, are taking off. They are taking off. Let me tell you, you're going to pay over. This is my favorite. I love this. I don't know why I'm so in love with this, but I am. Let me pull this up for you. I have been following these forever since they were a concept, and now they are for sale. They are for sale. You can buy one, but they're so popular, you're going to pay over retail for it. That is an electric vehicle. My good friend Christopher Titus just bought a brand new, beautiful Rivian. The segment, the ID Buzz. I love that thing. I'm in love with that thing. I keep trying so hard to talk Mrs. Texas Paul into, please let that be our next vehicle. She's like, I'm not driving a minivan and I'm not buying an EV. We live out in the middle of the freaking country. You're not going to make me stop and recharge. You're not going to do it. And I just, please, I want one. She's like, no. She says, until they get a true 400 mile an hour, a 400 mile range, we're not buying one. So I keep getting Titus sending me pictures of his Rivian. So I'm trying to win her over, folks. I'm trying really hard to win her over. But yeah, so look, this is what Elon is facing. He has to keep revenues up, and pardon me, not revenues, earnings up, stock earnings up, or his stock tanks. His whole mantra of being the wealthiest guy in the world is based completely and solely on this. I'm the richest guy in the world, so therefore I'm super smart. But the valuation of his car company makes no sense. I mean, even before you talk about this stuff, the flagging sales in the middle of a segment that is growing, everyone else is growing. There you go, Lucid. There are some great car companies. There are some great car companies out there. And they're building some great cars. Oh yeah, this is not going well, Michael. This is not going well. We're following the whole Panama thing. I may have to go down to Panama again here in a few days. Yeah. We may do a show from Panama. But folks, even before you talk about all this, Elon Musk is screwed. He is screwed. What is his only option? Slash prices. And his margins aren't that thick. And if you're building your EVs in, I don't know, Austin, Texas, you're not going to get those margins down. You're just not. There you go. You're not going to get those margins down. How do you do it? You build in Shanghai. You build in Shanghai. You expand your operations in Shanghai. You don't completely assemble the car. There are ways around it. I know people are like, well, there are tariffs on Chinese-made cars. It'll never. No, you don't completely assemble the car. You do all of the grunt work, send it back for final assembly here. It's actually that much cheaper to build. But if we Democrats get our way and we actually protect American workers, Elon Musk is screwed. He is screwed. I mean, it's over, folks. I'm telling you, it's over for all but the crash. It'll get to the point where he cannot fire his way into a good earnings report. He can't lay off his way into a good earnings report. And Maga's figuring it out. Maga is just coming to the party. Just figuring out that, all the shit we told you was true. It was true. Amen. Amen. We Democrats have been investing in, that's the huge slap in the face, is we Democrats have been pushing for the subsidies to promote electric vehicles, and Republicans have been fighting us the entire way. Again, that's stupidity. That's stupidity that is American executives. They're worried about the next earnings call and not worried about the long term. China plays long term. Folks, I mean it. I talk about it all the time. The Chinese Belt and Road Initiative is huge. It is huge. You know, let me just put it to you this way. We're about to see some interest rate hikes here in the U.S. And I'm not a financial advisor. I always tell people, talk to your financial advisors. Don't listen to some yahoo on YouTube. Talk to your financial advisors. But I'm telling you, everybody that I'm listening to says we're going to see interest rate spikes. So if you've got a variable rate anything, it's going up. Again, here comes the leopard to eat the faces. So yeah, I mean, and anyways, I've been beating this to death for too long. You get the idea. Elon Musk is doing this over trade. He's doing this to maintain his H-1B visas. He's doing it to prevent us from acting against China because he has to go to China to survive. He just does. He's facing backlash in the EU. This is why Elon Musk is funding Nigel Farage in the UK. He's trying to sow that chaos there because the EU is they're acting in their own best interest. Ask our European audience here. We have a big European audience here. Ask them. The EU is taking steps that are actually just killing Tesla in Europe. So Elon Musk is trying to sow that chaos so that he can buy in the same things he's doing here. John, it is, American executives have been lazy and relied on their privilege forever, and they thought it would last forever. We do. We have some of the worst executives. I love you folks. I mean, every one of these, this is what's so great about our conversations. I can talk to people about things and you already, I mean, it's not talking to the stupids that are like, oh, well, I got to do my research. It's like, you already know. You already know. But yeah, Elon's screwed. And he's trying to sow chaos. He's pulling a Putin. And it worked here. Fortunately, it's coming home to roost. Let me pull up an article. It was dragging way too much data, so I couldn't keep it open. Stick with me for just a second. I want to pull up an article for you. Ah, damn it. I should have kept it up. I should have kept it. But it was out of the Washington Post. They went back and they talked to some Pennsylvania voters. One woman by the name of Lisa, Missouri was one of them that just stuck out in my mind. And I keep telling you folks, the exit polling is just freaking heartbreaking from the last election. Lisa, Missouri is dead broke. She is. She is she's got an apartment. Her and her son live in an apartment that is so small. She doesn't have a bedroom. Her son has a bedroom. She sleeps on the couch. She is living off the social safety net. She voted Trump. She voted Trump. And they quoted her as saying Trump cares about common people, not just the rich. And she believes in her mind that we Democrats have abandoned her because we didn't fix her problem and we didn't make her comfortable. And she's still struggling. And the price of groceries went up. And the Republicans were just pleased as punch to lie to her and tell her that the reason groceries were going up is because we Democrats don't care. We're just in it for the wealthy people. And she believed it. She believed it. She is switching her voter registration from Democrat. Her town has voted Democrat in over almost every election. It just went for Trump. And they talked to just person after person after person after person. that the stories are exactly the same. They have no idea that this social safety net that they're living on, and it always ends with the same thing. Well, Trump won't hurt us. He knows that we elected him. He won't hurt us. Meanwhile, here comes the leopard eating faces because that social safety net she lives on has only been protected by us Democrats. Yeah, Lisa, we didn't make you rich. We didn't. That wasn't our job. But we did keep you off the streets. And we did keep food in your house. And yeah, the Republicans, the same people that want to take advantage of the H-1B visas to keep, beating down the middle class so they can keep importing labor that they can treat like freaking slaves. Yeah, they don't give a shit about your social safety net. They don't. And no, grocery prices aren't coming down. And interest rates are going to go up. And these people are going to get hurt. But here's the problem, folks. Your average person would rather die than say the words, "I was wrong." Really. So a lot of these folks that we lost aren't coming back. Not right away. Not even after the pain comes. It'll be a pox on both your houses. And the Russians and the Democrats are really good at selling those third parties. Where did Jill Stein go? She disappeared like a fart in a hurricane. But a lot of folks voted third party in Michigan. And the Republicans know this. And they sell it. And we're going to have to get dirty. We are. We're going to have to get dirty in the way we fight politics. Because, folks, the same people, the Lisas of the world, that we have been fighting to keep from abject poverty, to try to keep educational programs out there so that she can better herself, is pissed at us. Because the Republicans are more than willing to lie to her. And when they do take her social safety net away, because elections have consequences, because federal support for SNAP is one of the things, and federal support for just all subsidies. You got Vivek Ramaswamy calling us welfare queens. When they get hurt, we're going to have to ride that backlash. But here's the part that's, I wish I didn't ever crack a history book sometimes. See, here's the thing. A lot of these folks aren't going to be able to say, well, you Democrats were right. We're going to jump back on board with you. No, they're just going to get really freaking desperate. And they're going to hate everybody. And then they're going to turn violent. And Republicans are too stupid to see this. They're too short-sighted. They're funded by these executives that cannot see the big picture to save themselves from dying. And we're headed for some dark times. We really are, folks. And I hate, like I said, I hate that I can see this coming. Sometimes I really wish I was just as stupid as the rest of these morons are, and just walked around reacting. But that's exactly what's going to happen. And it's so in front of your face. You can see this. You folks, this is why our community comes together. This is why I'm working so hard. I'm supposed to be out working in the wood shop. I am. My woodworking shop. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be doing this. That was not my plan. We're building this community for a reason. And it's because of this. Look, watch. By the way, Tennessee Holler, if you're not following Tennessee Holler on Threads and Blue Sky, you're missing it. He's a good source. He's linking to another news source here, but they do a lot of their direct coverage, especially in Tennessee, But this is freaking huge. Again, here come the leopards eating the faces. Over 80%. Take a look at this map. Over 80%. Take a look at this map. Of the people that are filing for Obamacare, are in red states. Obamacare is literally it is DEI for healthcare. And these people just voted to kill it. The bluer the state, the more they apply for Obamacare. And it's like Lori, laying up on her couch. And I feel for her. I do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that's the way it is. But we're trying to fix that, and you keep kicking us in the nuts. For God's sake, give us a supermajority in both houses, and we'll end your poverty. We will. Yeah. The number one Google after the election was, can I change my vote? And I tell you, I mean, there's nothing we can do but sit and enjoy the fucking find out phase. Pardon my language, but this find out phase is just incredible. And I am loving this MAGA civil war over these people finding out. Thanks for the cup, by the way. And today is powered by Pete's Major Dickinson blend, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's a good looking mug, isn't it? That was awful nice. But we need to be prepared to ride the backlash off of this because it's going to be rough. It is. I wish I could tell you it was all going to be okay. It's not. It's not. Look at, you got Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and Doge and the Civil War over there, and they're literally just cutting off their major influencers, just suspending their accounts. Because, man, that's why they bought it. That's why they bought the corporate media, so they can control these messages. And it's always, always, always chaos. And speaking of chaos, this just happened. Hope you weren't planning on traveling to Russia. Last night, Moscow shut down every airport, or Russia shut down every airport in Moscow. And here's why. If you're following what's going on in international news, there was a Azerbaijani flight from Baku to Grozny. Grozny is in Chechnya, southern Russia. There was a flight that was going from Baku, Azerbaijan, which is a huge, that's an oil town. That's like the Houston of the Caspian Sea, flying to Grozny. When it got back over and land, this happened. You see these holes on the side of the plane? That's not from the crash. Here, I've got a video that shows you even closer. See if y'all can tell me what caused this. It's immediately apparent to everybody that sees it, that has any chops on this. You notice how all those holes are inward? Bingo. That was taken down by a Russian S-400 anti-aircraft system. They shot down one of their own airliner. They shot down an Azerbaijani airliner, which is basically one of their own. That was day before yesterday, and then yesterday they shut down all the airports in Moscow. So what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? Due to SoCal, the French Revolution is an example of the rich riding the backs of the common people till they couldn't take it anymore. We're heading that way, folks. We really are. We really are. I mean, Elon Musk, one of the most popular posts I've had on social media in the longest time is a picture of Elon Musk sitting there looking disappointed with the caption on it that I put on there. It says, when you spent $44 billion trying to recreate 1930s Germany and got 1790s France instead. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad. You don't get this kind of news here in the United States. You've got to really follow international media to get this kind of news. This really just happened. Just a few months ago, you had massive attacks. Southern Russia, you've got Islamic extremists that operate there. And a lot of people kind of operated under the misconception that they only hate us. And that's not true. That's just not true. Russia, down in Dagestan, they use and abuse people, and they're fighting and reaping an extremism problem. I appreciate you, Colleen, Sarah. Yeah, I tell you, I love those jalapeno poppers. I do. That she's referring to a post I put up the other day that the jalapeno poppers are the most underrated side dish in the world. They are. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate you. But y'all remember the attack on the Crocus Hall in Moscow? We warned them that it was coming. We had intelligence. We warned them that it was coming. And they didn't do anything about it. They didn't take our information. Well, you're about to see all over the news the reason that airport was shut down in Moscow, the reason this flight was shot down is we have been sharing intelligence with them. We are far better at gathering intelligence than the Russians are. They are much better at human intelligence and bribery and honeypots and all of that stuff. But when it just comes to straight up mass gathering of intelligence and analyzing it, we are far superior to Russia. We have let Russia know that there are impending attacks similar to what happened to us on 9/11, and they shot down one of their own airliners. They did. And Azerbaijan would be one of the perfect vectors of entry for one of these attacks inside Russia, because the Caspian Sea is their oil central. That is, we talked about that before with, when we were talking about World War II history, that you had Hitler's generals that were raging towards the Caspian Sea, and that moron Hitler, who's just like Trump, who thinks he's freaking brilliant, told his forces, no, head north to Stalingrad. I want Stalingrad. They're like, but the oil, we can see the Caspian Sea. Please let us just take this because that ends the war. And Hitler was like, no, I want Stalingrad. And the rest is history. Chris, a.k.a. Cult of Personality Birch, how about this? Give us AOC and Rocana with supermajority, and we'll end your poverty and give you health care. I despise Rocana. I do. I think AOC is going to be a great part of the party. But Rocana is a whore. He is a turncoat whore. People are all over John Fetterman. John Fetterman, I'm telling you, is naive. He is. He's all like, why can't we all just get along? No, we can't, John. We can't all just get along. We can't. They would never let us. But I cannot stand Rocana. Rocana is another Kirsten Sinema. But yeah, That's what's going on in international news. Russia is in full freakout mode because they are facing some major attacks. Not only are they going broke in Ukraine, not only are they running out of men, young men, fighting in Ukraine, not only have they lost Syria and their ability to force project into Africa, they are now facing serious attacks from Islamic extremists. And we, for whatever reason, I don't know, keep warning them. And I want to check myself. We're going to the round table here, leading on this point. I don't think we should. I don't think we should warn Russia when we've got credible information about terrorist attacks in Russia. I don't think we should. I mean, does that make me a bad person? I'm asking you seriously. I think that we are in as close to a freaking hot war with Russia as we are with any country on the face of the planet. And I don't think we need to be using our intelligence resources to protect Russia. They don't do it for us. Hell, they cause terrorism here. People are like, "Oh, Paul, you're just a Democratic corporate shill, and all you do is, everything's about." Yeah, I think I support the Democratic Party. I am a ride or die Democrat, but I have never said we cannot have constructive criticism of the Democratic Party, and that is one of my criticisms. I don't think we fight dirty enough. I don't think we're willing to cause as much pain as we should in this world. People don't appreciate us busting our ass to keep their social safety net in place so that they're living on their couch with their kid instead of on the street with their kid. That ain't good enough. I mean, we're fighting these oligarchs at every freaking turn, and the Republicans are sitting there taking donations from these very same people, and they're kneecapping everything we try to do. Yet they punish us at the polls. I think the pain that's going to be caused over the next little bit is going to be very, very, very helpful. Something else just to throw out there, a little bit of good news for you. This just happened. Rick Wilson is one of those Republicans that, like I said, I enjoy his work and I enjoy that he goes after Trump. But as soon as Trump is gone, if Trump dropped dead of a heart attack tomorrow, Rick Wilson would be working for the Republican Party again, drinking up that billionaire donor money overnight. So yeah, enjoy Rick Wilson, but don't trust Rick Wilson. Just like I say, kudos to Liz Cheney for doing the bare minimum of decency as far as just saying, hey, democracy is a good thing, but don't trust Liz Cheney. I'll die on that hill. I like Rick Wilson and the work he's been doing, but just remember, soon as as MAGA implodes, and it will implode, Rick Wilson is going back to work for the Republicans because that's where the longest green is. But in the meantime, he's been getting sued by Mike Flynn, and courts have just said, you know what? Calling you a sorry crook bastard was not defamation. It was the courts literally said it was harsh and it was unkind, but the First Amendment doesn't say that people can't be mean to you. So he lost on appeal. Then he tried to appeal it again to a full panel, lost there. And again, I love that they're wasting that money. I love that they are wasting that money. I hate that these right-wing attorneys are getting paid, but I love that they're wasting that money and time. William G. Atheist #1, thanks you for the support, man. It's who we are, Paul. We will never stand by and watch innocents suffer. I know. I get it, brother. I do. I get it. I really do. And maybe again, maybe I'm screwed up. Maybe my point of view is wrong, but I think if a little of this pain is allowed to come, like in this election, we're not going to be able to stop it. We just aren't. Elections have consequences. We are very close to 50-50, as close to 50-50 as you get in Congress. And we're going to be able to do a lot of good work in fighting to protect people. We are, but not everything. We're going to lose some of these fights because of what people just did at the polls, what unions just did at the polls. You know, the overwhelming number of union workers support us. They do. But there are these factions, you saw them, that wanted to jump into bed with the leopard that's going to eat their face off. You saw them. We talked about them in the show. And I really think a little bit of that pain is going to go a long ways to creating that backlash. I don't know. What do you think? You think I'm naive there? This right here. General Putnam, great point. Putin bombed Kyiv on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day as Ukrainians were heading to from midnight mass services and celebrating. Also bombed energy infrastructure as innocent civilians face a severe winter. Yeah. And here we are. You're going to find out over the next couple of days. You are that the reason Moscow is in full freak out mode is shutting down airports is that they were tipped off to credible. There's some attacks were coming. Some 9/11 style airline attacks were coming, and that's what's behind all this. Thank you, Kitty Frisco, fellow Texans. Amen. Hey, Kitty, we're in the round table now. We're having a discussion here. I get so much people that just take a dump on Texas, and it pisses me off. I'm born and raised here. I'm kind of proud. Tell these people there are way more of us than there are these freaking migrants. We have a voter apathy problem. Republicans aren't the minority. The majority of Texans aren't douchebag Republican shit MAGA. They're not. It's people like Kitty here. People like me. That is the overwhelming. Texans are nice people. They are. It's just you keep seeing these loudmouth MAGA trash garbage. And you don't see us unless you come here. That's really what Texas is like, folks. It really is, man. We're people that'll hold your door for you. We're the people that if you break down on the side of the road, we'll stop and help you fix your car. That's just the way we are, man. That's just the way we are. And most of us believe we all do better when we all do better. We're not these selfish MAGA bastards that are willing to sell the country down the road because, again, like I said, these people, and I wish it wasn't this simple, but it was really this simple. Over a transgender person that they've never met, competing in a sport that they don't follow, in a school they've never heard of, the bigotry they feel towards that was enough to sell our country down the river. And put a guy like Trump, who had our national secrets in his shitter, was taking maps out and showing, his billionaire buddies that show up at Mar-a-Lago, showing them maps that were classified. And, I'm just going to throw it out there. I think the guy was probably selling stuff. Just knowing the character he has. They put that guy back in the White House over their freaking bigotry. But that ain't most of Texas. It's just not. It's just not. I mean, you don't really hear, Molly Ivins died, Ann Richards died. You don't hear those big faces and names out there. You just don't. not coming for it. But we are. There are more people like me. There really are. Come down to Texas. You'll see. Ann Richards was great. She really was great. But I will tell you this about Ann Richards. She was, look, y'all know me. I'm complicated. I am. I'm complicated. Some things I'm very conservative about. Some things I'm very liberal about. But one thing I'm very consistent about is the Republican Party is too damn far right wing. And Ann Richards was one of those first Democrats that started moving to the right, basically chasing donations. I love Ann Richards. She was a great governor. But yeah, she way too many people. Way too many people. We talked about Kay Granger in the last show we did. That was just insane. Paid her for 6 months to represent Texas, but no, she was in a damn home. Damn home. I don't mean her home. I mean a home for people with dementia. But we still kept paying her salary like she was still in Congress. Chris, a.k.a. Cult of Personality Birch. All right, Texas Paul, I hear you. And up the ante to Raskin. I like Raskin. I like Jamie Raskin. I think he's a brawler, and I really like that guy. I think we need more Democrats like Jamie Raskin. It's okay we disagree on Roe, and Steve Schmidt is an ally and a Dem. He walked away from Rick. No. Steve Schmidt worked this entire election. Steve Schmidt was paid by Republicans to run third party. No. Steve Schmidt let his colors fly in this last election. He is not an ally of the Democratic Party. He is not. He was one of the people that went never Trumper, watched his money dry up and immediately went back to work. He couldn't go back to work directly for the Republican Party because, you got to keep the illusion up for the base. So he kept running Democrats that were trying to suck votes away from Biden. No. Nope. I wouldn't piss on Steve Schmidt if he was on fire. Yeah. Give me a break with that, man. Give me a break with that. If you had any idea how much we rely on the federal government here in the state of Texas, let me tell you something about Texas too, that it rubs a lot of people the wrong way when I say this. We're a poor state. They're like, "Oh, look at the numbers." I said, "Yeah, okay. Carve out the top 5%. Hell, carve out the top 1% and look at those numbers again. We're a tax dodge state. So you don't pay taxes here in Texas if you're Johnny Got Rocks. Me, they hide those taxes in every damn thing. We're one of the highest tax states for just average. People are freaking out. People that move to Texas, they're like, I thought it was going to be cheap to live here. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. Our taxes are outrageous. They just hide them everywhere. You don't pay income taxes. So Johnny Got Rocks comes down here, buys himself a shit box in Frisco. Frisco's a spency neighborhood in North Dallas. A McMansion down here in Frisco, and then he doesn't pay taxes where he really lives back, in his blue state. We're a tax dodge, but all that income, Republicans say, oh, well, look at this. We got Johnny Got Rocks living here. No, we don't. He don't live here. He don't shop here because we have a sales tax. He don't buy his cars here because we have taxes. No, it's just on paper. We are a poor state. We are one bad day away from being Mississippi or Alabama. And these people around here are just too dumb to know it. When you live in a place that a $13 an hour job is sought after, you're in a poor state. Yep. Florida is the same way. You got so many people that moved out of California. That is that would hugely regret it because, man, relocating is not cheap. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Yep. All of these red states, same exact thing. Well, look, folks, I've enjoyed spending time with you. We've gone a few minutes long. Thank you for hanging out with me. Enjoyed very much spending time with you again. I love these conversations. Thank you for getting us over 100,000. That is a big barrier here on YouTube. You're going to see the channel explode now. Boom. Changes a lot with the algorithm. Thanks for getting it done, folks. Thanks for growing our community. Thanks for supporting the show. But more importantly, just thanks for being who you are. I appreciate you. I love you, folks. I can't brag on you enough. Spending time with people that actually know things. I know when I'm doing the show, I spend a lot of time, with looking this direction. That's because right now I am looking at your chat. You folks are some of the most informed people out there, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.